feel that low, steady January hum? Until one little detail hits, and suddenly everything feels louder. Something changed in Foxborough, and it wasn't a highlight. Today you've got a quiet roster move that shifts the board, a defensive name you probably weren't leading with who picked the perfect time to show up, a pass rush redemption story that explains why Gillette got rowdy, and a quarterback message that's about to split Patriots Nation. Sit with that for a second. How many playoff runs swing on the stuff people barely notice? If you're riding with Patriots Nation, go ahead and hit like, make sure you're subscribed, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because there's a lot in here. Be honest. Do you trust the Patriot way when things get messy? That 16-3 win over the Chargers can trick you. You leave Gillette thinking, all right, we did what we had to do. Then the adrenaline fades, and you see a move that looks tiny on paper. But in the playoffs, tiny doesn't exist. Every roster spot is a bullet. Every cut says something, and today's message showed up in the most unsettling way. No fireworks, no big announcement, just a cold decision that opens a door and leaves a big question hanging. The Patriots released running back Dearness Johnson from the 53-man roster. And I know, the first reaction for some people is a shrug, but look at the context. Johnson was the third option in the backfield behind rookie Trevion Henderson and veteran Ramondre Stevenson. He was elevated for 3 straight games late, then signed to the 53 on December 13, 2025. He played in 7 regular season games and gave you practical snaps. 14 carries for 25 yards and 5 kickoff returns for 128 yards. In January, practical matters. Still, flexibility matters more. That's where Patriots fans immediately turn into detectives. With Johnson out, New England is sitting with just 2 dedicated running backs on the active roster. For a team that wants to control tempo, chew clock, and keep gains tight, that feels thin. And when it feels thin, it usually means something's coming the other way. That's why the name being floated is Terrell Jennings, placed on injured reserve on December 13th. Jennings has already handled real moments. In Week 9, against Atlanta, he logged 11 carries for 35 yards, scored his first NFL touchdown on a 3-yard rush, and added a 9-yard catch in a 24-23 win. That's not just a camp storyline. This is a guy the staff trusted when the situation demanded it. There's another layer here too. Cornerback Alex Austin. He's eligible to return from IR. He's been seen working with a cast on his left wrist/hand. And the information out there is he underwent a minor surgical procedure after tests revealed an injury from special teams work in the November 23 win over the Bengals. The key point is straightforward. A postseason return isn't being ruled out, and you already know how Vrabel tends to view this stuff. If you can steady 4th down in January, you're not depth. You're a tool you can actually use. And in the same quiet but telling category, the Patriots also released offensive tackle Sebastian Gutierrez from the practice squad. Translation, fine-tuning, wartime choices, the roster getting shape for a game that's going to hit harder than the last one did. So ask yourself, is this just cleanup? Or does it hint that an activation is coming that changes the offensive package and the special teams rotation? Because the next piece of this day explains why the defense also found a secret weapon right when the pressure spiked. People have been praising the secondary and pointing at the scoreboard, and that's fair. The defense owned the second half against Justin Herbert. That wasn't what most folks expected. All year, this unit was good, but inconsistent. Against the Chargers, the forecast was survival. What showed up was control. And inside a game that had big moments from Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones, and Milton Williams, there's a player who suddenly deserves a real spotlight. Undrafted rookie linebacker Elijah Ponder. Ponder came into the season looking like an easy cut. Undrafted, up and down. Always living on the edge of roster math. But he made the 53, carved out a role, and now, right when the postseason lights hit, he's heating up. His speed off the line jumped off the screen, especially after halftime when the pass rush finally came alive and started getting to Herbert in ways he wasn't ready for. And that matters, because the next opponent is either the Steelers or the Texans. That means the quarterback could be Aaron Rodgers or C.J. Stroud. Either way, you're not getting unlimited chances. Those guys punish hesitation, they test your rules early, and they feast on third and long mistakes. That's why Ponder suddenly feels like more than a nice story. With Harold Landry and Robert Spillane still getting acclimated after missing time. New England needs someone who can juice the front early, speed up the quarterback's clock, and create pressure without turning every snap into a blitz roulette spin. You can see the outline. Milton Williams leaned on more in later down situations, Ponder getting bigger chances early to set the tone. January doesn't wait for a long sample. It rewards what you can do right now. And Ponder delivered right now football. If he brings that again next week, how do you pull him off the field after that? And while Patriots Nation is still processing that breakout, there's also a pass rush redemption story that wasn't subtle for a second. K'Lavon Chaisson didn't arrive with universal confidence. He arrived with skepticism. Vrabel and the Patriots had extended dialogue with him in free agency, and plenty of people outside Gillette looked at the resume. Former first-round pick, uneven production, bounced around, and labeled it a short-term gamble. Right now, it looks like a playoff-grade decision. Chaisson signed a one-year, $5 million deal, opened the year as a backup, and climbed fast. This season, he put up career-best production, 7.5 sacks and 18 quarterback hits. Then, in the wild card win, he was dominant. 2 sacks on Herbert, including the strip sack in the fourth quarter that basically shut the door. That wasn't just a number. That was a moment. The path explains the edge. Drafted by Jacksonville in 2020, he didn't match the label early. 57 games in his first 4 seasons, 11 starts, 5 total sacks. He signed with Carolina last season and was cut at the end of camp, then finished 2024 strong with a career-best 5 sacks. That momentum carried into New England, and it's paid off. But what Vrabel emphasized wasn't only the get-off or the moves, it was the willingness. Chaisson plays special teams, and in January that isn't fluff. When a guy producing as a pass rusher still lines up on punt team, the locker room notices. Vrabel basically called it the most impressive part. Chaisson fought through bumps and bruises and didn't ask to come off those fourth down snaps. Tactically, it's big. If you can win off the edge without selling out with blitzes, you protect the back end and shrink the quarterback's decision window. Rodgers or Stroud, either one, doesn't want to live in a pocket that's collapsing from the outside while routes are still developing. And just as fans are enjoying that redemption, the offense dropped a message that's going to start arguments all week. Because Drake May's first playoff start wasn't clean, but it told you a lot. It was far from perfect for May. 3 turnovers, a few moments where the fan base held its breath. But there was also something young quarterbacks don't always show early in the postseason: command. May went 17 of 29, totaled 334 yards of offense, and threw the game's only touchdown to Hunter Henry. The turnovers kept the Patriots from turning control into a bigger score, no question. Still, the response matters, because next week, the margin gets tighter. The key detail was how he spread it around. He completed passes to 9 different teammates. That's not random. That's seeing the picture, taking what the defense gives you, and keeping the offense connected. Against the zone-heavy plan, he didn't spend the whole night hunting hero balls. He mixed it up, involved people, and kept the Chargers from sitting on one guy. You could also see the second half growth. More calm, better tempo, better feel when he had to move. And he hit a rare historical marker. May became the 6th quarterback in NFL history to throw for more than 250 yards, rush for more than 50, and throw a touchdown in his playoff debut. That doesn't erase the mistakes, but it underlines the ceiling. After the game, May talked about the room, how they care about each other, how guys do the small stuff, how nobody's complaining, how everybody wants the ball, but everybody wants the win more. Vrabel echoed the approach, mixing personnel, changing looks, even using heavier sets to keep defenses guessing. That's not just creativity, that's protection for a young quarterback in January. Now the fan base splits. Some fans see the turnovers and worry about what happens when the defense doesn't bail you out. Others see a quarterback growing inside the game, keeping everyone involved and not shrinking under pressure. In the postseason, you don't need perfect. You need functional under stress. You need a quarterback who doesn't fold when something goes wrong. And when you stack all of this together, the roster tightening, the defense finding answers, Chason turning into a closer, May learning under fire, you're looking at a team that isn't flawless, but is very much alive. And in the playoffs, being alive is everything. So I want to hear from you. Which part changes your confidence the most going into next week? The roster move and what it might signal, Ponder's emergence, Chason's playoff-level pass rush, or May's growth despite the mistakes? Hit like, subscribe, and drop your answer in the comments, because Patriots Nation is going to argue about this all week, and I'm here for it.